missed it. It's a great movie. It's a great movie. So, good morning. I know you have had an explanation, but for those of you who have might gotten here a little late, Mindy is speechless. She has lost her voice, and she texted yesterday and let Robert know, and Robert called me and said, help, and so here I am. Thank you. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. I said to my husband, jeepers, what am I going to talk about? He said, you're never without words. It's not like you haven't done this before. So today's topic is joy, how to get it and how to keep it. So I think it would be fun, and I wish that we had time for each and every one of you to write down a few words as to how you would define joy. We didn't prepare you with pencil and paper, so you'll just have to think about it. But I want to share with you what the dictionary says. Joy is a condition or feeling of great pleasure, happiness, and delight. And I added this, sheer bliss. I have felt sheer bliss right here in this room. Years ago, I hope it comes back a little more often, but I felt it right here. I was sitting along there where you are, all my buds right there on that row, right? And the sun was coming in that window, and it just shined right on us like it was meant for us right there. And I seriously, I just felt like there was not a care in the world. Such joy, just from a beam of sunlight. And so in Unity, we talk about affirmations. Those of you who might be fairly new to affirmations, we don't beg in prayer. Dear God, please, please do this for me. Please fix this. Please make this better. Please let me win the lottery. We don't beg. We affirm. Thank you, God, for my blessings. Thank you for my health. Thank you for the peace in my life. Thank you that I am joyful. Thank you that the lottery is headed for my bank account. We'll see if that one works. I hope so. So the point that I want to make as we begin, and I have several, is that we should be affirming joy every minute of every day. We need to think about it, talk about it, say it, believe it, show it, live it with everybody that you meet, everywhere that you go. And sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. You know, once in a while you may not be feeling so joyful. In the speaker circuit, where I'm on the road with a bunch of other folks that do what I do, we have this little expression. As a matter of fact, we think fake it till you make it came from Zig Ziglar, famous speaker, okay? So this is what we do. Act enthusiastic and you'll be enthusiastic. Well, it works most of the time. It does. Please know that joy is a habit. You know, our habits are powerful. And sometimes we get in the habit of moaning and groaning and grumbling and can't get happy. It takes 21 days to replace one habit with another. So if you start today, in 3 weeks, replacing all the grumbling and all the mumbling and all the growling and all the complaining, and you use joy words, in 3 weeks, you'll be a more joyful person, and you'll be sharing it with more people. Express joy and put on a happy face. Let's see a big smile. Everybody's smiling. Come on, Bob, you too. Okay. We know that love brings joy. That's one thing we can seek in our lives if we don't have it, and if we have it, we embrace it, and we celebrate it, and we are grateful for it. So if you made a mental list of what would be your perfect partner, even if you already got them, if you made the list, all right, let me ask this, who's single? Any single people? Okay, so I'm gonna really punch you with this one, okay? If you're looking for somebody who's smart and attractive and fun and spiritual and can support themselves, it's a good one, right? Okay. Guess what? You have to be fun and happy and joyful and spiritual and supporting yourself. Yes, you have to be what it is you want to draw to you. We know this from our unity teachings. We draw to us what we think and talk about, what we believe. And so just keep that in mind if you're looking. And if you don't have to look very far because that person's sitting right next to you, you be that for each other, and it brings you a lot of joy. Okay. Practice an attitude of gratitude. We talk about that a lot. Plato said, a grateful heart attracts to itself great things. So this is not new, Plato said. And so focus on the good things in your life and stop talking about what's wrong and how miserable you are and who hurt your feelings. What are you, 12? You know, get over it, right? Be a glass is half full person and never a glass is half empty, because you're going to see all great possibilities in all situations. So I'm preaching to me. Most of you know that I had back surgery. It's been a year, almost 11 months ago. It seems like yesterday in some ways. And I'm doing really good, but sometimes about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I start kind of hunching forward, and I sort of feel like I'm wearing Scarlett O'Hara's corset, where they pull the skirt really tight. And I grumble. This has got to get better than this. This is, you know, this is keeping me awake. And Randy said, are you listening to yourself? So here's what I'm going to tell you today. I am great and getting better. I am. Man, I am great and getting better. So when things don't go the way you planned, the way you pictured, there is a big rule. And this is one of the most joyful rules I can share with you today, if you can embrace this. God has better discernment than we do. So you may not get it when you ask for it. You may not get it when you want it. You may not get exactly what you want. But most of us know people who've had their hearts broken. My friend Judy, who would lie down in the kitchen floor and curl up into a fetal position and sob over her marriage ending. Today she looks back and goes, man, he did me the biggest favor in the whole world. She has so blossomed and is so happy and is a wonderful artist, and she's living a joyful life. God has better discernment, and we have to accept that, whether it feels good at the moment or not. Look for your lessons in life and learn them. Talk about joy is when you get it. You know, when you get it, you get that aha experience. Yeah. So you don't have to keep doing it over and over and over, because I really believe you'll keep getting the lesson till you get it. So you just as well take a deep breath, and you know the old cliche, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results, not getting it. So when you want it, you have to accept it and get it and move on with your life. Have you ever noticed that how you treat people in your life today is the single biggest factor in how people in your life will treat you tomorrow? And even people you don't know, totally different people, how they will treat you? Because there's a law of return, and I hate to use the word karma, but some of us know about karmic debt, don't we? Yes, okay. But it always works that way. I love to use this example. When you're driving down the freeway and your exit is coming up, but you're over here and the exit's over there, and you start trying to work your way over, and you get to that very last lane, and you try to just cut in, just squeeze in front of that person, almost taking their bumper off, they will run over you and kill you. Seriously, this is Dallas. I mean, but here's what I've learned. When I want to move over, I look over and I go, excuse me, would you let me? Not one person has ever said no. Not one person. You know what it is in their hearts? They don't want you to take it away from them. They want to give it to you. Give them the opportunity to give you the opportunity to move in to your lane. It really does work. I promise, you know, and I'm not telling you just do that to be self-serving, but you do need to get over, right? Okay. Surround yourself with joyful, happy people because it's contagious. It is. Sometimes when I get through speaking, somebody comes up to me from the audience and says, I wish I had you in my life every day to lift me up. And I say, honey, you got to lift yourself up. And then you got to hang out with other people that are soaring with you. And that doesn't mean you have to desert the miserable ones. All of us have a couple of miserable ones. But it just means don't waste your valuable time. Give them a hug, give them a kind word. Spend your time with people who make you happy and who share your joy. Because if you think you can fix the miserable person, do I have news for you? You are wasting your time and energy, because until they want to do it, till they want to be fixed, till they want to find their joy, they are going to wallow in that misery. And that's just the way it is. And in reality, very few of us can change other people. What's important is that happiness and joy comes from within, and we can share a message with them, but we don't have to wallow with them. Surround yourself with beauty. Make up your bed every morning. Doesn't it look better? Yes. Have pictures and artwork that you love. Something that smells good, a wonderful scent piece or a candle. Have music that lifts your spirits. I want to show you what music can do for you or to you. Kim, would you and Bill Sedgwick come right up here? And they didn't know I was asking them, so come on, Bill. Okay. Bill, would you lift out your right arm straight out like this? Left arm straight out like this. Sorry, wrong side. I'm left-handed, what can I tell you? Okay, I want you to see what this kind of music does when Kim tries to pull down Bill's arm. Okay, all right. He couldn't keep that arm up there. Thank you for, I asked for headbanger music, so Bobby banged his head on the wall. Now I want you to see how Bill's arm works when you hear this music. Thank you, Bob. A little kinesiology lesson. Thank you too very much. There was no faking that because they didn't know, so there you go. It does have an impact on us physiologically, emotionally. So watch the kind of music that you play. And I'm not saying, some of you guys have kids, and as a matter of fact, I said something one time to David Drum about headbanger music. He said, you don't know from nothing when you got kids at home still, headbanger music. But you see what soft, gentle music does for your spirit, and it makes him strong. Kinesiology is living proof. It is absolutely amazing. So I'd love to see you guys practice that, but I won't make you do it. We just saw a demonstration. Okay, here's another one. Joyful people have learned to hold their tongue and to be a peacemaker, not to stir stuff when they could let it rest. Joyful people aren't pushovers or doormats because they don't speak up, because they don't put up their dukes. They just value peace. Be part of that. Know how to speak so when you can contribute constructively, politely, nicely, kindly, without rancor. And think how much better you like yourselves the days that you accomplish that. When you think, I could have said, I could have told them, but I didn't. I kept peace. I kept my mouth shut. That feels good when you lie down to go to sleep at night. Joyful people don't judge. Joyful people are not critical, and they care how other people feel. Sometimes that feels like a curse because I am such an empath. I have suffered with the loss of Cecil the lion. You know about it because the media has made very sure that we all know about it over and over and over. I've cried every day. I cried every day for 2 to 3 weeks. I'm now trying to just avoid the websites and all the posting. But when I lie down to go to sleep at night, I would picture that beautiful, majestic beast walking through the forest and being tempted to cross the railroad track and having his life taken. And I felt that he walked 40 minutes bleeding before they got him and took his life and took his head. Let me tell you something that's happened from that horrible experience. There's a huge movement to put a stop to big game hunting. I'm sorry if you're a big game hunter, but I've joined that movement, that I can't imagine placing that beautiful animal's head on my wall. I can't imagine taking its life. So, okay, thank you, and I do. But then my Unity teachings came into play, and I realized that it must have been Cecil's time, and that Cecil may have given himself up to try to stop big game hunting in our world, to stop massacring these beautiful animals that God gave us to love and share. And then I'll give you another example, and this one may be a little political for you, but when I watched Caitlyn Jenner make her speech about being transgender and how she'd never been able to be true to herself until she finally stepped up and stepped out. And I felt that all the way to my core. And I felt for her, and I admired her. People said, well, how come she got the award for being brave? There are a lot of other people. That was brave, to get up in front of all of society and talk about it. Now, what's going to come from that? Transgender children kill themselves in this country, many of them, many thousands of them, because they can't deal. Caitlyn Jenner will help them deal with who they really are and with where they are. And so it's okay to be an empath as long as you can bring your joy back and know and understand that there was a reason, there's a purpose for that. Okay, joyful people love to laugh. I'll get over the serious part. Not at others, but even with others and even at ourselves. You know, some of my biggest laughs are looking back at stupid things that I've done to myself. I'm going to share a couple of very embarrassing things, and don't worry, Bob, I'm watching the clock. The timekeeper. The timekeeper. Before I met Randy and I lived in my other house, I had a swimming pool in my backyard, and I had a very high wood fence because the alley was higher than the backyard and the pool. And so the fence really went up high, and so total privacy. I lived alone. Nobody could see me. So I got in the habit in the summertime of running out in the mornings and swimming a few laps and then getting the water hose and watering all my plants in the nude. Nobody could see me, and why bother with a wet bathing suit and all this was just so. So one morning I went rushing out and I pushed the sliding glass door to kind of hard. And I swam my laps, and I got out, and I was watering, and I had a ponytail palm in the yard. Some of you know what they are. It's a big bulb, and it has these long blade-like green leaves. And as I was watering, I stepped down on the end of one of the leaves and went into with my foot. It went between my toes, and it gashed. And I was bleeding profusely in the nude, in the backyard, and the door locked. And I'm out there thinking, what am I can't, and the gate was locked from the outside because I always kept that locked. So I remembered, because I had a little side door into the garage that I could get to that, and I had a phone in the garage because before cell phones I had a long cord and I'd pull it out to the pool, right? And so I went, dear God, dear God, dear God, please let me not lock that door. Please let me get in the side door. And I went and turned it, and it opened. Thank God. I got to the phone, and I called my neighbor who lived up behind me. I said, bring me a towel, bring me something to wrap my foot, get me to Presby, because this is very serious. I can tell it's losing a lot of blood. And so she rushed over, and we get to the hospital. And the reason I'm telling this long, long story is I want to tell you what the doctor said. He said, now, explain to me again how you did this. I said, It's a very long story, and you don't want to hear it all, but I did it with a leaf. You cut a gash that's 1.5 inches deep between your toes with a leaf. And I said, yeah, but don't make me tell you the rest of the story. Okay. So, you know, the things that I've done since Randy, you know, I'm kind of a little klutzy sometimes. I'm not putting that out to the universe. I'm done with it. I'm joyful now. But like the time I broke a glass in the side of the sink that has the disposer, and I picked up all the big pieces and thought I'd just grind up the little ones. Randy comes home with a new disposer and says, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Now, Randy is the consummate joke. I mean, he is the funniest, those of you who know him, dry sense of humor. He does funny things. He cracks me up all the time. And one cold, icy day, he was going to try to get the car out. And I said, if you can get by the grocery store or Whole Foods, please pick me up a bunch of bananas and get them a little green and not overly ripe. That is what he came home with. That is my girlfriend's hand, so you can see the size of the bananas. I said, what were you thinking? That's one bite per banana. He said, that was the only green ones they had. A little green. I'm telling you, he keeps me laughing. We got all dressed up one Saturday night to go to a party. Same thing, icy weather, sleet coming down, almost didn't go, but we'd accepted, and we got in the car and we drove over to the people's house, and we were a little bit late, and there were only 2 cars there, and I thought, well, maybe people aren't going to come because of the weather. I'm glad we came or whatever. And I don't know where we're going to park. They'd be out of the ice, and this minute this little older man came out the door. I said, look, that little old man's the car parker. And the little old man went over and got his car and got some out and went back in the house. So I said, well, we'll give it up. We knocked on the door. The hostess answered in her sweatpants with a scarf around her head. She had her family over for a quiet family dinner. The party was on Sunday night. Anybody ever done that? Gone someplace at the wrong time? That's pretty embarrassing. She went ahead and showed us the house, and we did not get dressed and go back the next night because I didn't want to hear the story anymore. Okay. So this is my little wrap-up list, a little bit of a summary. Spend your life doing something that we love, that you love. We spend 8 to 10 or 12 hours working a day. Most of us work. You spend more time working than you do with your loved ones, and almost more than you get to sleep, right? So if you don't love what you do, you're wallowing around in misery 8 to 12 hours a day. Find something that you love. My cousin was a dentist at the VA hospital for many, many years and retired there, and he said to me, I hated every single day. I hated being a dentist, and I hated being there every single day. And he said to me, you are so blessed because you love what you do. It was a great lesson for me. Find a hobby or volunteer work that makes you joyful and brings joy to other people. You know, I never thought at 60 I would decide I wanted to design jewelry and string beads, and I've had the greatest, most fun things creating. I love that. And to be able to be a speaker and to be the places I've been. I have a 9th grade education. I ran away from home and got married when I was 15 years old. Now I got my GED, and I've had some college courses, but when you think about where I've been and the things I've seen, all over this country, up into Canada, to the islands where people took their employees for breakouts and for seminars. I have been so blessed, and I love every minute of it. And I vow to never complain about traveling, because in order to do what I do, you have to get there, right? Okay, here's another one. A loving pet makes us happy. A lot of you think they're too much trouble and you don't want to fool with them, but I'm telling you, and those of you who come to my house, Dottie, you've been there many times, it's like being in a zoo. You open the front door and all 3 parents start squawking, and both little dogs are barking at the top of their lungs, and people say to me, how do you stand this? And I said, it's music to my ears. These are my babies. We love these animals. Murphy the bird, sometimes we'd like to put in the microwave, but we don't. We don't. My sister Mia, who only married about a year ago, and I'm not going to tell you how many husbands, but she's very happily married, and she said that she thinks maturity and years give you more joy. And for her example is, I used to spend my Friday nights drinking and partying and hanging out with my buddies. Now Friday nights, I'm home with our 2 dogs, my handsome new husband, in front of the TV, enjoying dinner and having a quiet evening. Joy changes what brings you joy with maturity. And so I have to share with you also that I interviewed Randy, and I said, you know, talk to me about your male perspective on joy. And he says it's fulfillment from accomplishment, being challenged, and not just being loved, but loving back equally. I love that. His joy is making a positive difference in everything that he does, and trust me, he gives his all to everything that he does. I wish he was here today. Trade show. So choose joy. Put on a happy face. Energize yourself. Be sure that others are glad to be with you when you walk into a room, and even more importantly, what do people say about you when you walk away? Always think about that. Did they feel the joy? Did they feel the love? Did they feel excitement? Or did they feel down and out because you've been there? Got to ask yourself that question, all right? I'm going to close with a quote from Neil Donald Walsh. My own life experience has taught me that the universe is a friendly place, that God is always on my side, that I am never alone in facing trials and turmoil in my life. I just tell myself that all things happened for the highest good, and I believe it. I believe it, and it brings me great joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, bless your hearts. Thank you, thank you. You're nice to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you.